There is a powerful truth that we often overlook in our pursuit of success, happiness, and fulfillment. It's the art of not forcing. When we strive too hard, when we try to make things happen by sheer will, we only create resistance in our lives. We press, we push, we strain, believing that through force we will bend the universe to our will. But true power, true manifestation lies not in force, but in trust, patience, and surrender. When you understand that everything you desire is already yours, it changes the way you interact with the world. There is no need to force anything, because at the deepest level of your being, you are already aligned with your desires. The more you push, the further away you pull what you seek. It's like chasing the wind, you never catch it because it's always running just out of your grasp. Yet when you let go, when you release the grip of control, you begin to experience the natural flow of the universe. Consider for a moment how nature operates. Does the flower force its bloom? Does the tree strain to grow? No, nature simply trusts the process. It knows that everything unfolds in its own time in perfect order. And so it is with you. Your desires, your dreams, your future, these are not things you need to chase down or force into being. They are already planted within you like seeds waiting to grow. When you stop forcing, you open yourself to the natural flow that brings what is meant for you. Every desire is a promise, and promises are always fulfilled. But not on our schedule. There is a rhythm, a divine timing that governs the manifestation of everything. When you align with that rhythm, when you stop trying to control the timing and the outcome, you allow your desires to come to you effortlessly. The more you trust in the process, the more you realize that everything will unfold with grace. The key is to stop focusing on the gap between where you are and where you want to be. This gap only exists in your mind. When you fixate on what you don't have, you inadvertently block the flow of abundance that is already trying to reach you. Instead, focus on the feeling of already having what you desire. Feel the joy, the peace, the contentment as if it has already arrived. In doing so, you create the energetic space for it to manifest in your reality. Remember, your thoughts and feelings shape your experience. So if you are constantly forcing, constantly striving, your mind and emotions are in conflict with the universe's natural flow. But when you surrender to the knowing that what you desire is already yours, you become a magnet for it. It begins to find its way to you effortlessly, as if it were always meant to be there. The art of not forcing is the art of trust. Trust that everything you need will come at the perfect time. Trust that every moment is a part of the unfolding that leads you to your highest good. Trust that when you release the need to control, you create the space for miracles to happen. In the stillness of surrender, you will find everything you ever wanted waiting for you. So let go. Stop forcing. Let your desires come to you in their own time. Trust the process and watch as the universe works its magic. When you learn to trust the process of life, you come to realize that the universe doesn't operate on your schedule. It operates on its own divine timing. When you force things to happen, you are in a constant state of resistance, pushing against the natural flow. But when you stop trying to control the outcome, you allow space for everything to unfold as it is meant to. This doesn't mean you stop taking action or that you become passive. No action is still required, but the action you take comes from a place of inspired thought, not from a place of desperation. Desperation is the energy of force. It is the energy of lack of not feeling complete, of constantly wanting more, but never truly feeling fulfilled. When you force things into being, you are essentially telling the universe that you do not trust it to provide. You are signaling that you do not believe in your own inherent worth or in the abundance of the world around you. But when you stop forcing, when you let go of that desperate energy, you signal to the universe that you trust, that you are open, and that you are ready to receive. The truth is, everything you need is already available to you. It exists in the realm of possibilities, just waiting for you to align with it. It's important to understand that you are not separate from the things you desire. You are already connected to them in ways that your conscious mind cannot fully comprehend. The moment you shift your thinking and realize that everything you want is already on its way to you, you stop grasping for it. You stop running after it, chasing it with frantic energy. Instead, you allow it to come to you in perfect harmony with the flow of life. This isn't about sitting idly and waiting for things to happen. It's about aligning with the energy of what you want. When you are constantly forcing things to happen, you are not aligned. You are out of sync with the flow of the universe. You are resisting the natural course of events. But when you shift your mindset and allow things to come to you, you are in alignment. You become a magnet for what you desire. You must recognize that all things are already in motion. The universe is always working behind the scenes, orchestrating the perfect set of circumstances for you to receive exactly what you need. This requires patience, yes, but more than that, it requires trust. It requires the understanding that things are happening whether you see them or not, whether you are aware of them or not. The seeds you plant today will grow tomorrow, but not because you force them to. They will grow because you give them the right environment, the right energy, and the right patience to flourish. Think about the power of visualization. When you visualize your desires, when you allow yourself to feel what it will be like when you have what you want, you align yourself with that energy. But visualization is not about forcing an outcome. It is not about making it happen right now. It is about allowing yourself to feel it deeply, to embody the essence of what it is like to already have it. When you do this, you are setting the wheels in motion, but without the pressure, the strain, or the need for control. This is where the magic happens. When you stop forcing, when you release the need to control everything, you create a powerful space for your desires to manifest. It is in this space that miracles occur. It is in this space that you open up to infinite possibilities because you are no longer limiting yourself by the narrow scope of your own expectations. You are surrendering to the flow of life, trusting that it will bring you what you need at the right time. Too often we try to force things because we believe we have to. We believe that if we don't push, we won't get what we want. But the truth is that pushing only creates resistance. It only keeps you from experiencing the very thing you desire. The more you try to force an outcome, the more you repel it. When you let go of the need to control, you allow the universe to take over. You open the door for divine timing to work in your favor. When you stop forcing, you become more in tune with your intuition. You begin to recognize the subtle signs and nudges that guide you along the way. You stop looking for external validation and start listening to the inner voice that has always been there, guiding you towards your highest good. This is where you begin to feel the true power of surrender. You realize that you do not need to force anything because the path has already been laid out for you. You only need to trust and follow it. This is not to say that challenges won't arise. Life is not about avoiding challenges or obstacles. But when you stop forcing, you approach those challenges from a place of calm and clarity, knowing that they are part of the journey, not something to be feared. When you trust the process, you no longer resist the challenges. Instead, you embrace them knowing that they are opportunities for growth, for learning, and for becoming more in tune with the flow of life. There is an immense power in surrender. It is not weakness, it is strength. It is the strength to trust that the universe knows what you need better than you do. It is the strength to let go of control and allow life to unfold naturally. When you surrender, you stop fighting against the current. You stop trying to swim upstream, and instead, you allow the current to carry you to where you are meant to be. Surrender does not mean inaction. It simply means that your actions come from a place of alignment, not from a place of force. You take inspired action, action that feels natural, that feels effortless. This is the difference between working hard and working smart. When you stop forcing, you realize that your efforts are more effective when they are aligned with the flow of life. You work smarter, not harder. You must also recognize that you are always in control of one thing, your thoughts. You control how you respond to situations, how you interpret the events in your life. When you stop forcing, you change the way you think. You stop thinking in terms of lack of limitation, and you begin to think in terms of abundance, possibility, and trust. You begin to believe that everything is working for your good, even when you cannot see it yet. This is where faith comes into play. Faith is not about blindly believing in something without evidence. It is about trusting in the unseen and the things that are happening beyond your perception. Faith is the knowing that what you desire is already on its way to you. It is the assurance that you do not need to force anything, because the universe is always working behind the scenes, orchestrating the perfect circumstances for your desires to manifest. When you trust in the process, you free yourself from the burden of expectation. You let go of the need to control how things unfold, and you simply allow life to be. This is when you truly begin to experience the peace that comes with knowing that everything will come to you at the right time. You do not need to chase after it because it is already on its way. All you have to do is be ready to receive it, to open yourself up to the gifts that life has in store for you. And so when you stop forcing, you begin to experience the freedom that comes with surrender. You begin to see that everything is happening for you, not to you. You start to understand that the delays, the challenges, the waiting periods, they are all part of the process. They are not obstacles. They are simply opportunities for you to align more deeply with your desires, to refine your vision, and to trust the timing of your life. The art of not forcing is truly the art of allowing yourself to be, to trust, and to believe that everything is working for your highest good. Allowing yourself to receive the blessings that are already on their way to you. When you let go of the need to force, you open yourself up to the infinite possibilities that exist in every moment. And in that space, you will find that everything you desire is already waiting for you, ready to come into your life in perfect timing. When you stop forcing, you begin to realize that the pressure you've placed on yourself to make things happen was never necessary. The desire to control every outcome often leads to frustration and disappointment, because the universe doesn't work according to our limited human understanding of time and space. Life doesn't unfold the way we expect it to, and that's one of its most beautiful aspects. What may seem like an obstacle or delay is simply part of the process, part of the divine timing that you can't always see, but it's always working for your highest good. There is a deeper intelligence at play, one that orchestrates everything in perfect harmony. The idea that we must constantly push forward in order to succeed is deeply ingrained in us. From a young age, we are taught to work hard, to hustle, and to always be striving for more. While effort is important, it is not the sole factor in determining success. What matters even more is the energy behind that effort. If you are constantly pushing, forcing things into existence out of fear of failure or a belief in lack, you are in fact resisting the flow of life. But when you let go, when you stop trying to force things to happen on your terms, you align yourself with the far greater force, the force of life itself. Imagine for a moment that you are a river. A river does not force its flow, it simply flows, following the natural contours of the land. Along its path, it may encounter rocks, branches, or obstacles, but it doesn't resist. Instead, it flows around them, always moving forward. It doesn't fight its way through, it simply finds the path of least resistance. You too can adopt this way of being. When you stop forcing things into your life, when you stop trying to manipulate outcomes, you allow the natural flow of life to take over. And you will be amazed at how much more effortless everything becomes. Every moment that you spend forcing something to happen is a moment you spend disconnected from the natural rhythm of life. The more you focus on the how and the when, the more you disconnect from the energy of faith and trust. When you let go, you trust that the universe or the divine has a plan for you that is far greater than anything you could orchestrate on your own. You trust that everything is happening in perfect timing, even if you don't see it yet. A lot of people struggle with letting go because they believe that if they don't actively chase their desires, they will never achieve them. The idea of waiting or allowing feels passive and unproductive to them. But in reality, it is anything but passive. Letting go is an active practice of trust, of having faith that the things you want are already on their way. You are not doing nothing. In fact, you are doing the most important thing you can do, aligning yourself with the flow of the universe. When you are not forcing, you are operating from a place of alignment. This is the state of being in which you feel in harmony with everything around you. Your actions feel effortless, your decisions feel inspired, and you are not trying to manipulate the outcome. You trust that everything you need will come to you in the right time, and you open yourself to the possibilities of how that might unfold. You are free from the need to control every detail, and in doing so, you allow miracles to take place in your life. It's important to understand that when you are forcing something, you are often operating out of fear. Fear of failure. Failure of fear of not having enough. Fear of not being good enough. This fear clouds your ability to see the infinite potential that exists in every moment. It creates a narrow perspective, one where you believe there is only one way for things to unfold. But when you let go of that fear, when you stop forcing, you allow yourself to see the broader picture. You realize that the universe has countless ways of delivering what you need, and some of those ways may be far beyond anything you could imagine. One of the most powerful aspects of letting go is that it gives you space to receive. We spend so much time and energy forcing things to happen that we rarely take a moment to stop and allow ourselves to receive what is already waiting for us. By constantly pushing forward, you are essentially blocking the flow of abundance that is trying to reach you. But when you stop forcing, when you let go of your need to control, you open yourself up to receive the blessings that have always been yours. You create space for the universe to deliver what you need in ways that you never expected. Another beautiful aspect of letting go is that It allows you to experience life as it is, rather than constantly chasing after something else. So often we are caught up in the pursuit of our goals that we forget to appreciate the present moment. We are so focused on what we want to achieve that we forget to enjoy what we already have. But when you stop forcing, when you release the need to chase after something, you begin to experience life in its fullness. You can appreciate the beauty of the present moment, knowing that everything you desire is already on its way to you. This doesn't mean that you stop working towards your goals or that you don't take inspired action. What it means is that you stop attaching yourself to the outcome. You take action because you feel inspired to do so, not because you feel like you have to force something to happen. When you stop forcing, your actions are more aligned with your true desires. And they feel effortless because they are coming from a place of inner peace rather than desperation. It's crucial to understand that the universe is always working for your highest good, even when you don't see the results immediately. Just because things aren't happening right now doesn't mean they are never going to happen. You must trust that everything is in divine timing. It's not about forcing things to happen faster. It's about trusting that what you want is already making its way to you, piece by piece, moment by moment. When you force, you create pressure. You create a feeling of urgency and anxiety that blocks the natural flow of things. You are telling the universe that you don't trust its timing, and that's when resistance builds. The more you force, the more you push things away, because you are coming from a place of fear and lack rather than abundance and trust. But when you stop forcing, when you relax into the knowing that everything is already in motion, you create an environment where things can flow naturally. You remove the pressure, and that's when the magic happens. Let go of the need to control every detail. Trust that things are working in your favor, even if they don't seem to be. The more you let go, the more you will see how the universe is aligning everything just as it needs to be. When you trust, when you stop forcing, you begin to understand the true power of surrender. You understand that it is not about forcing your will on the world, but about aligning with the will of the universe. When you do this, you realize that everything you need is already coming to you, and you stop resisting the natural flow of life. This is not to say that you should be passive or complacent. You must still take action when it feels right. But that action should come from a place of inspiration, not from fear or desperation. When you stop forcing, you begin to realize that everything you want is already available to you. You simply have to allow it to come to you in its own time. Trust the process. Trust that your desires are being fulfilled in ways you cannot yet see. And when you stop forcing, you open yourself up to a world of infinite possibilities. When you stop forcing, you begin to shift your perspective from one of lack to one of abundance. The constant pushing and striving that you may have been doing has its roots in a belief that there is not enough, that you must fight for what you want. But when you release that need to control, you align yourself with the truth of the universe. There is more than enough for everyone. The universe is not limited, and neither are you. By stepping away from the idea of scarcity, you open yourself to the abundance that is always flowing towards you. The mind plays a crucial role in this process. Often we force because of the stories we tell ourselves, stories about time running out, stories about not being good enough or not having enough. These stories keep us trapped in a cycle of struggle and effort, but they are not true. These are just narratives we have created based on fear. When you stop forcing, you challenge these old stories and replace them with a new belief that everything you desire is already yours. The moment you let go of these limiting beliefs, you create space for your true desires to manifest effortlessly. You are no longer bound by the false beliefs that have kept you in a state of tension and resistance. When you release the need to force things into being, you make room for a more peaceful way of living. Life no longer feels like a race, a battle to be fought at every turn. Instead, it becomes a journey that you are on, one in which you walk with confidence, knowing that you are being guided every step of the way. You no longer feel the need to grasp at every opportunity that comes your way, because you understand that the right opportunities will come to you when the time is right. You are no longer chasing anything, rather. You are allowing what is meant for you to find its way to you naturally at the perfect time. Letting go of the need to force opens up an entirely new relationship with time. In a world where we are conditioned to think that time is running out, we often feel the need to rush, to achieve everything as quickly as possible. But when you stop forcing, you begin to understand that time is an illusion. There is no rush, and there is no need to beat the clock. Everything is happening exactly as it should, and when you release the pressure of time, you experience life in a more relaxed, joyful way. You begin to realize that the moment you are in right now is exactly where you need to be. There is no need to hurry toward the next thing, because all things will come to you in their own time. This shift in perception is profound. It brings a deep sense of relief. When you no longer feel the need to rush toward the future, you begin to see the beauty of the present moment. You find joy in the simple things, the things that might have once passed you by unnoticed. There is no longer any urgency to achieve or acquire. Instead, there is a deep sense of peace in knowing that what you desire is already on its way. All that is required of you is to stay present, to remain open, and to trust that everything will unfold perfectly. One of the most transformative aspects of letting go of the need to force is the change it creates in your energy. When you are constantly pushing, striving, and struggling, your energy becomes dense and heavy. It is filled with resistance, but when you let go, your energy becomes lighter, freer, and more expansive. You begin to radiate a sense of calm and assurance that attracts to you the things you desire. You stop chasing after what you want, and instead, you become a magnet for those very things. The law of attraction is not about forcing things into being, but about aligning yourself with the energy of what you want to receive. As you reach the need to force, you stop putting out desperate energy. Desperation repels what you want because it comes from a place of fear and lack. But when you stop forcing and simply trust, you send out a vibration of peace and abundance. This subtle shift in energy is what allows everything to begin falling into place. You begin to notice synchronicities, opportunities, and people showing up in your life at just the right time. These are not coincidences, they are the results of you allowing rather than forcing the flow of life to unfold. There is also a deep wisdom in the practice of letting go. When you stop forcing, you open yourself up to receiving divine guidance. Sometimes we force because we think we know what is best for us. We have a plan, a roadmap that we believe will lead us to happiness and fulfillment. But when you let go, you cement your plan to a higher wisdom. You begin to trust that there is a plan far greater than any you could have devised. You allow the universe to guide you, and this trust leads to greater fulfillment than you could have ever imagined. Letting go of the need to force is also a form of self-care. It is an act of kindness toward yourself, an acknowledgement that you deserve peace, that you deserve ease. We often push ourselves beyond our limits because we believe we must. We think we have to constantly strive to prove our worth, but the truth is, You are already worthy. You do not have to earn your worth through struggle. When you stop forcing, you give yourself permission to relax, to breathe, to simply be. In doing so, you connect with your true self, the self that knows that all things are possible and that everything is unfolding just as it should. Another benefit of letting go of the need to force is that you become more aligned with your true desires. When you are forcing something, you may not even be clear on whether it is what you truly want. Often we force things because we are afraid of not achieving them, or because we feel we should want them. But when you stop forcing, you give yourself space to connect with what you truly desire. You stop pursuing goals because of external pressure or societal expectations. Instead, you pursue what feels right for you, what resonates deeply with your soul. In this way, you align yourself with your true path, one that is more authentic and fulfilling. Trusting in the process of life is one of the most liberating things you can do. When you stop forcing, you allow yourself to surrender to the flow of life. Life no longer feels like a battle or a race. Instead, it becomes a gentle unfolding, a series of moments that reveal themselves to you as you are ready for them. The more you let go, the more you realize that everything you desire is already on its way to you. The universe is constantly working on your behalf. And when you stop forcing, you align yourself with the divine timing of your desires. You realize that everything happens when it is meant to, and that nothing you desire is ever out of your reach. The art of not forcing is a practice of deep trust and surrender. It is a practice of allowing life to unfold without interference, without control. It is a practice of releasing fear, doubt, and resistance, and stepping into a state of acceptance and peace. When you stop forcing, you open yourself to the flow of life. And in doing so, you create space for all that you desire to come to you effortlessly. Letting go is not a passive act. It is an active choice to trust, to surrender, and to allow the universe to bring everything you need. In this surrender, you discover a deeper connection to yourself, to the world around you, and to the limitless possibilities that life holds. When you stop forcing, you begin to unlock the full potential of your being. This isn't simply about waiting passively for things to come to you. It is about cultivating an inner peace, an unwavering belief that everything will manifest in its own time. It is about releasing the grip of control that often leads to frustration and exhaustion, and instead, embracing the flow of life with an open heart and mind. As you release the desire to force, you cultivate a deeper understanding of the interconnectedness of all things and the role you play in this magnificent dance of creation. The art of not forcing is ultimately a spiritual practice. It is an acknowledgement that the energy you send out into the world is far more powerful than any external effort. The actions you take must be aligned with the desires you hold in your heart, but they must also come from a place of calm and clarity. When you force things, you drown out the voice of your inner wisdom, the divine guidance that is always available to you. You may find yourself acting impulsively, caught in the energy of urgency, when in reality you need to stop and listen. It is through this silence that you connect with your higher self, and from this place, everything begins to unfold with ease. As you allow things to come to you without force, you start to realize that the universe operates in cycles, and you are a part of that cycle. Just as day follows night and winter turns to spring, so too do your desires and intentions move through phases of gestation. When you force things, you are disrupting this natural rhythm, causing unnecessary tension in the process. But when you relax and allow things to happen in their own time, you create harmony between your actions and the flow of life. You become an active participant in the unfolding of your own destiny, not through struggle, but through surrender. You must also understand that the very act of forcing is often rooted in a lack of faith. It arises from a belief that you must control everything, that the universe won't deliver what you need unless you demand it. But the truth is, the universe is always listening. It is always responding to your energy, your thoughts, and your beliefs. When you force, you are sending out a message of doubt, a message that you don't trust the natural order of things. However, when you stop forcing, you align yourself with the faith that everything will come to you when the time is right. This deep trust in the process frees you from the anxiety of trying to control every outcome and instead allows you to step into the flow of life, trusting that you are exactly where you need to be. There is power in non-action, in surrendering to what is and allowing the universe to do the heavy lifting. This doesn't mean that you stop taking action altogether. It simply means that the action you take is inspired, not forced. It means that the energy behind your actions is one of flow rather than resistance. The world responds to your energy, not just your efforts. When you stop forcing, you naturally begin to act from a place of inner peace, and that energy creates the perfect conditions for your desires to manifest. Sometimes when you stop forcing, you will find that the things you thought you wanted no longer have the same pull. In the quiet space of surrender, your desires will become clearer, more aligned with your true essence. This clarity can be profound as you begin to see that the things you once strived for were not truly what you are so long for. The things you thought you had to fight for are often the things that once released reveal their true form. What you desire is already yours, and it will come to you when you stop trying to force it into existence. This practice of non-forcing also teaches you patience. In a world that often rewards speed and immediate gratification, patience can feel like a rare commodity. Yet patience is one of the most powerful practices you can embrace. Patience is not about waiting idly. It is about maintaining a calm and confident expectation that everything will unfold as it should. When you are patient, you create the space for your desires to manifest in the right way at the right time. Patience gives the universe time to respond to your energy, and it allows you to receive everything you have asked for in a manner that is in alignment with your highest good. Letting go of the need to force also invites you to trust your intuition. So often we ignore our inner knowing because we are too focused on the external noise, the pressure to achieve or to act a certain way. But your intuition is always guiding you, always showing you the way. When you stop forcing, you create the space to listen to this inner voice. You become more attuned to the subtle nudges that lead you in the right direction, rather than trying to figure everything out on your own. Your intuition will never steer you wrong, but it can only be heard in the silence, in the stillness that comes when you let go of control. In this process of releasing, you also begin to cultivate a deeper sense of self-worth. When you force things, you are often operating from a place of insecurity, thinking that you must prove yourself or that you are not deserving of what you desire. But when you stop forcing, you acknowledge your inherent worth. You recognize that you don't need to chase after anything because you are already worthy of receiving. You are already deserving of the abundance that is meant for you. Your desires are not arbitrary or out of reach. They are a reflection of your divine essence. And when you stop forcing, you recognize that you are worthy of all that you desire just by being you. This sense of worthiness is essential in the art of non-forcing. It is what allows you to truly release the grip of control and surrender to the flow of life. You realize that you do not have to earn your desires through effort or struggle. They are already yours, simply waiting for you to step into alignment with them. When you stop forcing, you give yourself permission to receive without guilt or hesitation. You no longer feel the need to prove yourself or to justify your desires. You simply trust that you are deserving, and in this trust you become a magnet for everything you have asked for. By stopping the cycle of forcing, you also release the constant comparison to others. So much of our struggle comes from trying to live up to the standards set by society or by others. We measure our worth based on the success or achievements of those around us. But when you stop forcing, you no longer need to compare yourself to anyone else. You understand that your path is unique and what is meant for you will never pass you by. Your journey is yours alone, and it is unfolding in its perfect timing. There is no need to rush or to force yourself to be somewhere you are not. Everything will come to you in its own time, and you can trust that you are exactly where you need to be. The art of not forcing is truly about returning to your natural state of being. It is about shedding the layers of conditioning that tell you that you must constantly strive, that you must always be in control, that you must prove yourself. It is about reconnecting with the truth that you are whole and complete, that you are already worthy of receiving all that you desire. When you stop forcing, you return to a state of peace, of trust, of acceptance. And in this state, you allow the universe to unfold in its perfect rhythm, bringing to you all that is meant for you with ease and grace. In letting go, you step into a new way of being, a way of life where you trust that everything is working out for your highest good. When you stop forcing, you stop living in the energy of resistance and struggle. Instead, you step into a life that is filled with ease, with flow, with divine timing. The universe is always conspiring on your behalf. And when you stop forcing, you align yourself with the natural rhythms of life, allowing everything to come to you effortlessly. The art of not forcing also calls for a deep level of self-awareness. You must recognize the subtle ways in which you are pushing against the current of life, trying to make things happen rather than allowing them to happen. In moments of impatience, you may find yourself rushing decisions, speaking impulsively, or acting out of desperation. These are the signs of forcing, signs that you are not allowing the natural flow of things. To be aware of this is the first step in shifting your approach. Awareness brings clarity, and clarity allows you to step back from your impulses. It's about observing yourself without judgment, noticing where you might be pushing too hard, and learning to shift that energy into one of patience and trust. You can feel it when you're forcing. There's a tension in your body, a sense of unease in your heart. On the other hand, when you're in alignment with the flow of life, you feel light, open, and at ease. This is the difference between forcing and allowing. The body, mind, and spirit are all in harmony when you allow and out of alignment when you force. At times it may seem like you're being passive or even lazy when you stop forcing. The world around you can often reward, hustle, and struggle, but you must understand that real power comes from a place of peace, not pressure. The world tells us that we must fight for what we want, but the truth is, the only fight we ever need is the one against our own limiting beliefs. The battle isn't about outworking others or striving harder. It's about overcoming the inner resistance that tells us we're not enough. that we need to do more to earn our desires. When you stop forcing, you begin to believe in the infinite abundance of the universe. The illusion that there is not enough time, money, love, or opportunity begins to dissolve. You see that there is an endless supply of everything you need. You don't have to push, compete, or manipulate to get what's already yours. Everything you seek is already on its way to you, drawn to you by your energy, your vibration, and your belief that it will come. This belief is what enables you to relax, to release, and to stop trying to control every outcome. In the process of letting go, you may also come face to face with fear. Fear often arises when we release control because we are not sure what will happen next. We've been taught to believe that we need to keep pushing, to constantly be in motion, to always have a plan. The fear of surrender can be overwhelming, but it is through surrender that true freedom is found. When you trust that everything will unfold perfectly, you dissolve that fear. You begin to understand that the universe operates on a level far greater than what we can comprehend with our minds. And the only thing we need to do is stay aligned with that higher plan. When fear comes up, acknowledge it, but do not let it control you. Fear is simply a signal, a reminder that you are about to step into a place of growth and transformation. As you embrace the art of not forcing, you will find that fear becomes less of an obstacle and more of an invitation to trust. Every time you face a moment of doubt, choose to lean into the calm, to remember that everything will come to you in divine timing. The more you choose trust over fear, the more natural it becomes. In addition to fear, there may also be doubt. Doubt in the process, doubt in yourself, or doubt in the universe's ability to provide. But just like fear, doubt is an illusion. It's the mind's way of attempting to protect you from what it perceives as uncertainty. The truth is, uncertainty is where the magic lies. It is in the unknown that all possibilities exist. When you stop forcing, you begin to release the need for certainty, and in doing so, you create the space for miracles to occur. Doubt often arises when we don't see immediate results. We live in a society that values instant gratification, so waiting can feel uncomfortable. But just because you don't see results right away doesn't mean they aren't on their way. Think of planting a seed. The moment you plant it, you can't see the roots growing underground, but they are. They're developing silently, preparing to sprout when the time is right. Your desires are like those seeds. Even if you can't see them manifesting, they are growing. They are moving through the perfect process of creation, just as everything does in nature. When you stop forcing, you also begin to notice the synchronicities that occur around you. Things start to fall into place in ways that seem almost too perfect to be coincidence. You meet the right people at the right time. Opportunities arise when you least expect them, and solutions to problems appear effortlessly. This is the magic of not forcing, of allowing life to unfold naturally. You begin to see that everything is interconnected, that the people, events, and circumstances you need will come to you when you stop trying to chase after them. The practice of non-forcing also teaches you to honor the timing of your desires. Just as you wouldn't expect a flower to bloom before it's ready, you must trust that your desires are coming to fruition when they are meant to. There is a natural order to everything, and it is important to recognize that sometimes the timing of your desires may not align with your personal timeline. But this is part of the divine plan. Your desires are not being delayed, they are unfolding in perfect timing. And the more you trust this, the easier it becomes to relax and let go. Allowing yourself to stop forcing also means accepting that some things are beyond your control. The need to control everything can come from a place of fear and insecurity. But when you let go of the need for control, you make space for the universe to work in ways you can't even imagine. You are not in this world alone. There are forces at work beyond your awareness that are guiding you toward your highest good. The moment you release the need to force, you surrender to the wisdom and power of the universe, which is always working on your behalf. The beauty of this practice is that it frees you from the burden of doing everything yourself. You realize that you are not alone in this journey and that the universe is constantly supporting you. When you trust in this support, everything you need comes to you effortlessly. There is no struggle, no strain, no need to force. All that is required is your willingness to align with the flow of life and to trust that everything is unfolding as it should. You will also find that the more you practice the art of not forcing, the more you will begin to experience joy in the process. Life becomes less about reaching some far-off goal and more about enjoying the journey. You can look at your current circumstances with gratitude, knowing that every step is leading you closer to what you truly desire. The moment you stop forcing, you realize that life is not something to be endured, but something to be savored. The energy of forcing can be exhausting, but the energy of allowing is life joyful and full of possibility. When you stop forcing, you stop striving for things outside of yourself. You realize that everything you need is already within you. Your happiness, your peace, your success, all of it begins with you. By releasing the need to force, you return to your natural state of abundance. You remember that you are a powerful creator, that you have the ability to manifest your desires without effort. When you trust, when you stop forcing, you step into the flow of life where all things are possible and all things are yours. The art of not forcing is a profound practice of surrender, trust, and alignment with the natural flow of life. It invites us to release the illusion of control, to trust that what is meant for us will come in its own perfect timing. When we stop forcing, we begin to experience the true power of patience and allow ourselves to be guided by a force greater than our individual effort. This is not a passive state, but one of conscious awareness where we trust that every desire we hold is already on its way to us, unfolding in divine order. By embracing the beauty of allowing, we create space for miracles, synchronicities, and a life of ease and joy. When we stop forcing, we step into the fullness of our power, realizing that everything we seek is already within us, ready to emerge. In the end, the key is to trust the process, trust ourselves, and allow life to flow freely, knowing that all that is meant for us will indeed come to us when the time is right.